Welcome everybody to the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. If you want to check out one of our live stand-up shows, our next show is December 30th at the Lyric Hyperion Theater in Silver Lake. For more information on that show, please go to our website, comedypopupla.com. Now stay tuned for a very special Comedy Pop-Up episode with special guest host, Sean G. Let's start the show.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? This is the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast, and normally the host is my mentor, my favorite, Mr. Ron G, but today is not normally. Today, I'm your host. I'm Sean Grant. Tomorrow, who knows? But I'm honored because today I have two amazing comedians, each of who has an array of talents from directing, acting, and all kinds of stuff. I know them as stand-up. To my across from me is Mr. Feraz Ozel. Do we have a... There we go.
Oh, man.
Our very disciplined studio audience.
Thank you, audience.
Yes.
Oh, they stopped clapping real quick. Huh?
They're disciplined. They're very disciplined. And then directly to my right is Miss Courtney Scheuerman. Am I suggesting that?
With that? Yeah.
Oh, perfect. All right. What's up, guys? How you? First, I'll start with you, Feraz. How's your holiday going? How's everything with the?
I feel pretty fucked up today, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to start the day early. I wanted to get up early and start trading my cryptocurrencies. But
that's crazy. I learned about that the last time I was on the show.
Really?
The dude taught me about. You talking about Bitcoin stuff like that?
Yeah, that and the altcoins and all this stuff. But it didn't happen because I left my keys at my friend's house and I got home at like 3:30 and I realized I didn't have my house keys on me. And I call my friend and he's asleep. And I'm just like, okay, so what do I do? I just slept in my car last night.
Damn.
I slept in my car in my garage last night.
That's why you're cold.
I was freezing cold. I had to let my jacket
got
on.
A full trench coat and ascot and everything
I have
with
a
the
tank top
hood.
on, so.
Yeah.
And Courtney's barely clad.
Courtney's part of her shirt is ripped open for extra ventilation because of how overheated she is. I was about to wear gloves, bro. I'm literally freezing.
Damn, man. I thought when you said I'm fucked up, like a good fucked up. That's a bad fucked up.
Oh, no. It was a bad
Exhausted.
fucked up. I wasn't even like fucked up.
I thought you were like
fine.
drunk and partying.
No, I drove home and I was like, okay, time to go inside. Nope. And then I'm in my garage and it's 6 a.m. Somehow the car the whole garage is empty, but it's 6 a.m. The people who park tandem next to me, I don't know if they're moving in or what's happening, but they start opening their doors and closing their doors and switching cars back and forth for like 25 minutes.
Make sure you get no sleep.
You're like the man's trying to sleep out here.
Yeah. So you guys are the first humans I'm having interactions with today.
Well, I'm honored.
Yeah.
Definitely. How's your holiday going, Courtney?
Holiday's good. Holidays
Gigging.
pretty uneventful.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How do you guys, does comedy schedule dry up usually around this time for everybody? Or what's going on with you guys, particularly? Your calendar.
I live here. I'm from here.
Right.
So I actually get more spots during the holidays because everybody else leaves. So my win.
Yeah.
Nice.
I kind of take it always as an opportunity to leave. I think it's important to always take time out of the year to take a vacation or travel or do some,
That's right.
You know what I mean? Just have experience life as a real person because we all grind and we're just mentally and physically, emotionally consumed with the business.
Lost in that.
Yeah. And I think that the one time I'm able to leave and not get anxiety, like, oh, I'm missing auditions or I'm missing shows or I'm missing this and that, or it's during the break. Because it's like the whole world has just decided, all right, we're all going to fuck off for like 2 weeks.
Exactly.
So I'm like, all right, so I'm going to go head out. And normally I go do like an international trip or something for a few weeks. So this time I'm going to go road tripping. Go to some national parks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Get your head clear,
and just do that. Yeah.
Dude, last time I was with you, we did, I was shooting a movie with you. You gave me a nice, great role with Helen.
Yeah, you killed it.
Oh, you think, thank you.
Have I shown you it yet?
No, you haven't shown me, but Helen was like, next time she saw me at a club, she was like, you were so great. It came out so funny.
Yeah.
So Helen Hong's she's starring as Georgina. The movie's called Curious Georgina, right?
Right. Me and her wrote it. We wrote all of it in October. We wrote it and then put it in pre-production in a week, and then we got everything together and shot it within like 1.5 day of shooting, and then got it edited and sent off to HBO's Asian Pacific American Visionaries thing.
Snap.
And then we got it cut up some more and fixed some sound design to send it to a bunch of the festivals. And now we've sent it to some. Her agents really like it, and we've put together the season 1 treatment, and we're trying to get it going. So when the new year kicks off, to start trying to pitch it as a TV show to different production companies and stuff. So it was my first time directing.
Is it your first time directing?
That was my, other than like little sketches here and there, but that was my first time directing like a film. Yeah, with that kind of crew and everybody and all that stuff. But I felt right at home.
I do remember when I walked, I was like impressed because I had a whole pack of stuff ready to just sit for an hour. You know how you go on a set and you're like, I'm just not going to do anything for like 4 hours. You were ready to go. Like, that's why I don't know if that, from you being a comedian or from just being an actor and other things.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, damn, that's very efficient. Like, a lot of directors don't treat people's times like that. Like, I don't know. Courtney, you also direct. I mean, does anything from comedy or your acting career lend itself to how you direct or?
From a comedy career? Well, yeah. I mean, as a comic, you're commanding and demanding.
Right.
So it's definitely like a presence and a take charge kind of attitude.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's what you need most as a director, just to be able to. Because you were, I like your directing style. You're very in charge, but not like
not a dick about it. Actually, they have respectful of your time. I got your ass there, and Chris Gorbos was there. There's a couple of comics there at 8:30 in the morning, and I know that's not comic friendly time. You know what I mean? The least I can do is offer you a granola bar and respect your time.
And you were like, hey man, whenever you want to get in the wardrobe, because I'm like, I got my stuff there, but I'm like, I'm not gonna put this on until.
You guys all looked like you just been hit in the face with a train. All the comics that got there by 8:30 in the morning, literally were looking at me like, yeah, whatever you need, man. But they're just like still nowhere near.
Oh, you mean they're all hungover? Cool.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Just exhausted people.
Oh yeah.
It was dope. I think that what stand-up comedy lends itself to directing a lot in the cutting floor, actually. Like when you're editing the film, because timing-wise is when I was like, that's when I really started to feel like, I have to be here to see all this, because otherwise
that's the most important part.
Yeah. Right. So you can shoot it however you want. The acting can kill it. The writing can kill it. And if you don't know the editor and the editor doesn't know comedy, what they do on that with those cuts, that's the difference between having something with sitcom style beats or Masters of None style beats, or what's the difference between a Judd Apatow pacing or Aaron Sorkin pacing. It's not comedy, but you know what I mean? It's still, what happens in the editing makes a huge difference in what kind of tone your movie's going to play in.
Yeah, I shot a pilot presentation like a year and a half ago, and I had an editor that I was working with, and the cut he gave me, I was literally like, what is that? Like it was not what I had written or directed. It was insane. I was literally like, that's great, but that's not the story at all that I was telling. And it's literally just from like taking out words or like cutting out moments or beats where I was like, that wasn't even the tone or
completely missed it.
I've heard that about, like, I heard Woody Harrelson had that thing with Annie Hall where the editor's like, I completely did this movie. Like Annie Hall was a completely different movie. It had like weird devil scenes, like where he would go to hell and talk to the devil, and the editor was like, the only reason that movie came out like that is because of me. And I'm like, there's no way. I thought he was just, but it's really like that. Like you can change the whole tone of a movie.
I mean, look at what's happening with entire like social media people, like Super Deluxe and people who are taking news and other stuff, and they're just, by editing it, they're creating an entirely different comedy narrative, right?
Wow.
Like, we're seeing now from YouTube videos and other videos, for the first time, editors are able to come into play and go, oh, I'm a comedian, but all I do is take existing content and chop it up in a way to make it a new funny narrative.
Dang, that is a I guess it's a new art, you'd say, because people are really good. I'm like, you were doing this for free. I mean, I'm imagining they do it for free, right? You can't get paid off of that material, I don't think, because it's copyright written or whatever.
I mean, I guess once they get enough followers.
It's the followers, yeah. They get followers, and then they get like people reaching out to them to,
And then they're like editor famous. Like Super Deluxe. Like I remember I had some industry people invite me to Super Deluxe's like party or something last year.
Yeah, you don't even think of them as editors anymore. They're
content creators. They're I don't know, comics, but they're funny. They're capable of funny stuff.
Right.
I don't know what word.
I like how you pull back on comics. Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing.
Oh no, I get touchy about that too.
Right. Hey man, you ain't been booed, brother. You can't.
Unless you're driven 3 hours for 8 minutes in front of 4 people for 2 years, you're not a fucking comic.
Right, dude. So as comedians, you guys, let me start with you, Courtney. What was the first time you like had a breakthrough, you feel like, in your comedy voice, or what was it, like something that made you go, either I belong, I've arrived as a comedian, or now I'm funny, like, you know what I mean? Like
that kind of took me a while. I didn't really believe in myself as because I'm an actor. Like that was my path. Was just acting. And it took me it actually took until like my first like TV spot until I was like, okay, I guess I'm okay at that.
And that was on Last Call, right? Was that Last Call?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. And then you did
it really was that
live.
moment where I was like, okay, wait, I actually,
I'm on television.
I
guess
actually
should
think
be doing
people
this.
think I'm a comedian. Yeah,
That's dope. That's a great place to find out. Yeah, I think.
yeah. That was a good, that's a good start.
You're like, someone thinks I'm
dope.
a comedian, or we've really tricked all the producers on this show.
I'm not kidding. Like for the first couple of years, I kept thinking like they don't get it. Like I'm tricking them. Like I'm not really
That's
a comedian.
I find you hilarious. What about you, Feraz? When was your first time you felt like, you know what I mean, like a thing in your voice happened, or
Yeah.
you just got it? Like, you know, because I've seen you just have a rhythm about how you talk, and you know, you can tell when a comedian's broken through that. I'm just telling jokes. To this is I'm just
No, I'm
it's kinda
talking to you.
like
Yeah.
I'm talking a rhythm.
That point, yeah, because I think early on, it's like I did well early on in terms of getting laughs. You know, I was able to be a funny comedian on stage like early on, like within a year. I'd say within the San Diego scene, within a year, I was like featuring at clubs and stuff, or like within 2 years, I was like one of the main feature guys. So I was like, oh, I'm so good, right? But then around year 4 or 5, you start to realize that it's not just about can I just write shit and perform in a way to make people laugh? How can I be as real as possible? Am I being me? Am I just making people laugh, or am I moving people?
Yeah,
becomes kind of the objective, I think, for anyone on the journey after year 7-ish, you start to kind of feel like that, you know?
Yeah,
You watch really dope people like Chappelle or whoever else, and you were like, oh, this is like different shit. And I think in that regard, like, I think something really clicked inside of me about a year and a half ago. So between year 7 and coming on, I'm probably around 8.5 now. So around year 7, something clicked on stage that just got me to dial into the moment 1,000-fold, like 1,000% more than I was before, where I wasn't thinking as much about the pacing and, you know, public speakery shit. Like, all right, I did most of this joke to the left side of the room, so now we do look at the right. Let me look all over the room to keep everyone engaged. You know, like, here's my act out. It's like, and it was all good sets. I've been paid working, no day job comic since 4.5 years in. Oh, wow. But it took 3 years of still being at that level. 3 more years later, something just fucking clicked about being like in the moment. And when you're doing that, you just are able to be yourself. And I think the audience feels it.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
then you can get away with a lot more shit that might not even be the funniest joke, but if it's interesting and it's 100% real and honest, you're going to move the crowd 1,000% more.
Exactly. Yeah, because I saw you. I didn't know you were from San Diego. We had done a show. We were at the Madhouse together. And where'd you start, Courtney?
In LA.
In LA.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, dope. How was that? How was that starting?
It sucked.
It seems like a hard scene.
I don't know how you do that.
I thought I had like an advantage. I was like, yeah, no, it's great because like everyone knows me. That's like, it's the most detrimental thing.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine if people saw me. If I was showcasing a year into my like I would be.
Oh, and I thought I was so good.
Oh my god!
No, a year in, I was literally like, I'm getting a special. That's exactly what you're saying. It was like I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah,
and everybody was watching that.
Yeah,
and so it's hard to kind of like break that now. Like there's even people who would be like, yeah, I've seen you do stand up, and I look at them and I'm like, fucker, you haven't seen me in like 6 years. Like,
you have exactly.
And it's embarrassing,
so
but like you know, like first impressions, they're so important.
No, you're right. It's true because it's like I saw you. I think the last time I saw you, we did. I don't know what show we were on together. Was it that outside show? The last time we did a show together? Stretch's show.
Oh yeah,
was that the last time your sister was there? Yeah, that was a fun show, and I think I hadn't seen you for like 3 years. Like, do a set. I'd seen you around, we'd hung out or whatever, you know, see the clubs or whatever. But I hadn't seen you do a set in like 3 years, and then I saw you do your set, and it was like, it was like a completely different animal. It was like you had a killer set, and I was like, fuck yeah, that was dope, dude. And I hadn't, you know, and I didn't recognize any of the jokes or anything. So it's so interesting that it's like, people underestimate how much a comic that's actually grinding can grow in years. So you're like, if you haven't seen me in the last 2 years, you haven't really seen me.
Right. I like that you watch comedy because you gave me a great compliment. It was a diss and a compliment at the same time. When you saw me at Madhouse, you were like, because I used to wear, I mean, I don't know, when I would get on stage, I'd wear like colorful shirts, like button-ups that were like really loud. Yeah. I wouldn't say nothing about them. I just wear them. But it wasn't like, look at my shit, you know, I would couldn't do bits about my
You
shirt.
were peacocking?
Right, yeah. I just was like, I'm on stage for the people. I like that shirt. And then I
The
just
shirts
started
had
wearing.
just so we know, the shirts had every color on them.
Right.
They were button-up shirts that literally had every color ever made on the shirt.
Dude, they were Robert Graham $200 shirts, people.
Oh,
okay,
he was really peacocking.
I was getting the catalog and everything. But then you gave me a compliment. Literally, I was still kind of wearing them, but then I went to Madhouse and I just had regular shirts. And he was like, dude, I'm so glad you, and mind you, I haven't stopped wearing these shirts. He goes, dude, I'm so glad you stopped wearing those stupid shirts because now I can like hear your jokes and they're good. You're really funny. Thank you, man. And I said, what the fuck? I said, what just happened? But it's, yeah, thank you, bro. I mean, that made me like, oh, okay, I don't have to do anything else. I could just be on stage and command everyone's attention without needing the shirt. So it's actually made me a lot more relaxed on stage. I'm just like, yeah.
But it's hella funny because I
appreciate
thought, you're welcome. Well, you're welcome, and I'm sorry. It's so because it was you had a more. It wasn't just the shirt. It was like you had a more grounded, real vibe to you the whole show. Like it was like you're always funny. Like I said, but it's like what I said earlier. It was like with the shirt and your clothes can affect what you do. Like I tried wearing these glasses for a little while when I performed that I don't fucking need. I was like, oh, I'm a hipster now. I swear to God, yeah. I just like glasses, and I was like, all right, let me try these. I started wearing the bars and shit because I thought it looked cool. I was like, I guess I'll wear it on stage now. And just when I started performing with these glasses on, it made me like. I watched the tapes and it made me like more pretentious. It made me like slower, or like it made my act. It just made me perform different. Like what we wear can sometimes have a weird energy effect on us.
So does.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like when you were just wearing, you had like a leather jacket on and like a black shirt, and like you just felt more like just real, and like I don't know, there's just a certain like I don't know power behind it.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. So I was like, good job.
Appreciate it, man. Saved me a ton of money.
I think for the first 2 years of me doing comedy, I never went on stage without wearing these black army boots. Ever. Like I never went on stage. I guess it kind of became like a superstitious thing for me.
Yeah.
And it was because like I felt like I was like one of the guys in it. Like it made me like grounded. And the minute I stopped doing that and was just like wearing whatever I wore that day, like it wasn't like a uniform. Like it totally changed the way I carried myself on stage. I was actually me, like rather than trying to like be
Fit
this
in
like
with the guys.
tough chick, or like try to try to create an essence that wasn't really me.
Absolutely, and like and so, and I feel like with females, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like I've heard women say like is it harder to try to look like do you avoid looking sexier on stage because it's a distraction, or like how does that work?
That was
like,
a conversation. Like the first couple, I'd be like, I never wear a dress on stage. Like I always just wear jeans, and that was something I was trying to do. That it wasn't something.
Yeah,
like,
it just seems like that's not your style anyway. Like you wouldn't wear heels or pump. I don't know.
But I don't wear heels in life. Do you know?
Right. Yeah.
So like I don't. I guess like what you give attention to kind of like becomes an issue.
Got you.
So it's just I do me, and it's it's just real.
Yeah. You see, I mean, you just it seems like you're from what I've seen in your comedy. I think last time I saw you was at Ha something like that. Yeah, you're just free flowing and cool. I mean, all right. I don't want to get it to a weird place. So, but there is a there's a thing in entertainment and comedy in general, and I want to get both of your opinions on it. But Courtney, I think specifically as a woman in comedy, like with people being exposed for being like creeps or I don't know.
Hashtag me too? Is that where we're going?
I don't even know if it's hashtag me too, because some of it's just predatory behavior. So I don't know if you can, have you experienced a lot of that? And I've heard from female comedians who are friends of mine, like terrible stories of dudes who will be like pressuring you to get on the road with them and then push themselves on. I mean, you don't have to expose nobody, but if you do, feel free. That's what the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast is all about. I mean, get these creeps up out of here. Let's purge them.
You know what? I'm definitely not hopping on that train. I have absolutely. I don't think there's a woman. I don't think there's a woman out there right now that doesn't have a story of something happening to them, and it sounds awful to say that it's something that we've just become accustomed to, like in our culture, but it is. It's like so many of these stories, it's kind of becoming like a witch hunt right now, and it's scary. It's really scary because
it's scary for you guys, for women as well. I mean, I'm scared, but I don't know. Like,
well, I mean, I personally don't have anything to worry about, but people that I care about, people that I, other comic friends that I have that I know are good people that would never force themselves. So I guess this line of like what harassment is.
Got you. Yeah.
People be like, yeah, I've heard him harass you, and I'd be like, that was harassing.
Right.
Like, I didn't.
He just asked you on a date, or maybe, or I don't know.
No,
like,
not ask you on a date, but the whole kind of like, I mean, I've definitely had bigger comics be like, do you want to come do this feature spot? Mm-hmm. It's in Bakersfield. They're only giving us one hotel room. We'll have to share one, and it's like. And they're not even saying it creepy. They're actually saying like, I know it sucks, but I mean, if you're comfortable with that,
right.
And I think a lot of women would be like, he was trying to get me to go on the road with him so that we'd share. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't really have that mentality about it.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel that. I mean, Feraz, do you feel weird about like the way you like if you wanted a female to come on the road with you? For example, like I had I went to El Paso and I brought Aiko because she's a great comedian. One, also because she won't put me in a divot because the feature does a lot of time in that room, like 30 minutes before my 45, so for substantially less money. But because I was featuring there for a long time.
Yeah.
But my thing about features is like, because if you know Aiko, she'll always, no matter what's going on with the crowd, she'll go, "You guys are a great crowd," and bring the energy up. So I'm like,
that was a good other
she'll
one.
never, she'll never like crap on the audience and stuff. So that's why I brought, you know what I mean. But then in some people's mind, just like, what are you trying to do? And we didn't even talk until the show, like, you know what I mean.
Did you worry that afterwards she might have felt assaulted by your shirt choices?
Hilarious.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I didn't know you hated my shirt. How long have you held this?
It's all coming out now.
We've known each other for years, man.
No, I didn't hate the shirt. It was just an interesting choice. No, I think that I am. I'm not I don't think I would be very, very surprised if any woman ever said I came off creepy to her. I don't think I give off that vibe. I don't think I do fine with ladies in a very consensual way. I don't need to be weird. All that being said, like just all of it coming out and stuff, it's even put guys that haven't done anything, and this is no one's fault. It's just where I am. It's just an interesting thing that's happening right now. But it's like it puts you in a position where even if I do want to hang out with comedian that's a female or something, and genuinely just because I'm like, she's funny and cool, and like we're at shows together, and she looks like she's doing cool shit, and I'm doing cool shit. Like you want to be friends with other comics who are doing cool shit or whatever. There's a part of me that goes like, are they gonna, if I reach out to her on Facebook or DM her or something, is she just gonna think I'm trying to fuck her now? And it's just a weird position to be in where I'm almost like hesitant to foster friendships even or relationships with them, or or I'm hyper aware of like, is there anything I could possibly say that could be misconstrued into me being creepy or something?
Absolutely.
But because I think there is a line. I mean, there is a line between someone even aggressively hitting on you and sexually harassing you,
right?
And then the next level is molesting you.
Oh, is that
right? And then the last level is raping you, right?
Right.
And so if we start to convolute all the concepts of these transgressions, it starts to become a very murky world. Now, sexually harassing you, obviously wrong. Molesting you, you're a piece of shit. Raping you, you can obviously kill those people, and I'll be fine with it.
Right.
Aggressively hitting on you, that's guys do that. Right. If you reject them and they say no, then they should do that. If they do something after that, what they do after you reject them hitting on you is one thing. You know what I mean?
Got you.
There's sometimes chatter happening where it's like, if someone's even aggressively hitting on you, are they sexually harassing you? Right?
Yeah.
And that's a murky line. And I'm not even saying I do that, but then it comes to, is even hitting on you now conflated to aggressively hitting on you, which then becomes harassing you.
Right.
And then it just puts you in this weird position where you're like, I'm just going to go jerk off for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know, and my tone is definitely. I don't want this to come off like I'm like, yeah, women are making this shit up. That's not it at all. This is it's just because of what you're saying. It's I just had a friend, in you guys all know him in our community that is receiving threatening messages on Facebook from from a female that he consensually had sex with, and she's and he didn't want to continue seeing her, and now she's sending him these threatening messages like, I have pictures of us, I have this, I have that, like threatening him that she's going to come out and expose him. And
that they're having sex consensually.
Yes. Well, no, saying that that it was not.
That it wasn't consensual.
That it wasn't.
Yeah.
She's a comedian as well.
She's not.
Oh.
No.
And that is scary, you know, because it's like, obviously I never want to say, I'm not on the these women are lying train, but I'm on the every human beings are capable of terrible things from every different part of life, whether you're a woman or you're a gay dude or a straight dude or whatever. Like there's bad pickings, you know what I mean, in every group, and then so if it just becomes a trial by Twitter world we live in, where anybody can just come out and do this thing, and within 48 hours you takes everything away from somebody. Man, I mean that's just a kind of a crazy Black Mirror kind of world to live in, I think.
Yeah.
That being said, it's like if someone has done those things, I'm 100% in favor for us taking their shit and teaching everyone lessons, setting an example. Like it has to stop. But I just think it's a very interesting time we're in right now, and we need to be careful how we're moving forward. And I don't really feel like we're living in a time where people are interested in actual meaningful dialogue and discussions. They're more interested in attacking each other and winning, as if all arguments are the Patriots versus the Raiders, and it doesn't matter what the fuck happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a weird time to do that.
No, I feel you, man. I mean, with me, excuse me, jeez. I have a girlfriend, so it's like, and she's not in the entertainment business at all. And I'm, very involved. I involve her a lot in like going out or just like in my Instagram and stuff like that. So it's very clear where that line is, because sometimes it's just respect. Like I used to when I was single, I'd call my female friends or whoever up all times of the night. It's no big deal, go hang out, whatever, But now I'm kind of. You're married, Feraz, or you have what's going on? Oh, wait, you look.
I'm the farthest thing away from.
Oh, okay.
I was literally like,
you
what?
were going to. I'm sorry. No. When you were at Manhouse, you were going to your brother's wedding.
Oh,
so, right. I thought that you had
going to it. Right, I was going to. I was going to a wedding.
He was your younger brother, right?
No, it's like my basically, it's like one of my closest friends. That I just,
I'm sorry.
I just call him my brother.
But you don't have a girlfriend or anything like that.
I'm in like.
Oh, my bad. Stuttering.
No, it's fine. I don't do. I mean, if we open up my can of my thoughts on relationships, it's a whole thing.
No, did you? I was just gonna see if it does this affect like how you know what I mean. Like does comedy affect? I was gonna ask you, as well, Courtney, how you date or who?
Oh,
you
yeah,
know
totally.
What I mean?
I'm not in a place where I believe in monogamous relationships right now because and I just
damn.
Yeah. Yeah. And
my baby just turned it off.
and here's the thing. And it's not just because I want to just go bang a bunch of different girls or anything like that. Right. It's because I don't like if you enter into monogamous relationships with somebody at this age when I'm 29 years old, and if the girl's anywhere near this age, it sets up a trajectory oftentimes for the next normal steps. If they're a normal person, and most women, a lot of them, it's like, okay, well, are we going to move in 2 years? Are we going to get married? Are we going to have kids? I'm going to be 35. I don't want her to be autistic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are real things that come up. So I'm not trying to enter into that dynamic. And so the easiest way for me to do that now is to 100% have an upfront conversation within the first couple of dates on what my ideas are on monogamy and relationships and where I am and what I want out of this. And if it's for them, I'll respect them. I'll always be honest with them. I'll always, you know what I mean? Like whatever they want to hear, I'll tell them. Whatever they don't want to hear, I won't tell them. I'll never be mad at them if they want to hook up with anybody else. I don't control them. I don't own them. They don't control me. They don't own me. But if we can be with each other, love each other, respect each other, and still show each other affection, and that's dope for you, then let's do it. And if not, I totally understand. And you'll be surprised how often you can find women that are open to that if you just give them the chance to have the ball and decide where it goes. Where so often men will act like they're up for monogamy or act like they're up for this other kind of relationship, but they want what I'm fucking saying. But they don't have the balls to look a girl in the eye and say that's what they want, or they don't have the heart to maybe lose them. So they'd rather just create this charade, and meanwhile, it's not even what they're about. Right,
and so, what you're more avoiding is normalcy as opposed to the relationship. You're because we're comics, we don't live normal lives, so you don't want to go down that trajectory of like, step by step, living like everybody else.
That's not where it's going, and I'm not going to have another conversation. I've lived with 2 women now. I've been in several 3-year relationships. And they always just don't go the way I want my life to go. And so why am I going to keep doing this thing?
Right,
Because it's normal. Because with normal people, we don't fucking live a normal life. So I'm going to tell you that's what it is with me.
Yeah, with you, Courtney, like, does this affect how you date? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know your status either. I don't want to. Yeah, am I asking to harken my Barbara Walters?
Yeah, I think this is like the hardest question for
My
comedians.
bad.
How's your love life going?
In relation to comedy, I guess.
In relation to comedy, yeah. It's actually I was just talking to another comic about this yesterday. Especially for female comics. But female comics don't have relationships. Female comics aren't married. I mean, like, think of like the really big names in comedy.
Jesus. Now that I think about it,
like
none of my friends.
Liza's engaged right now, but I mean, other than that,
that was after like a bunch of Maybe
and I think it's just the lifestyle, you know? I think there has to be kind of a marriage to freedom.
How does that make you feel?
So sad. No, wait, so I consistently get into relationships that I know won't work out, like on purpose.
Word.
According to my therapist. Like, I love long distance relationships. Like, I'm involved in a long distance right now, and I complain about it, but I mean, that's exactly what I want.
Yeah. Damn.
Right now.
Right.
Because it's set up. It's like if the parameters are set up that if it's like we know this isn't really going to go the distance, then it frees you up from what am I doing? Am I sending my life down a path and where I'm going to lose control of this? And now I have another human being's expectations of me, and that interferes with my goals and dreams. And
damn.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really smart what you're saying. Like, you know, unless you're in a relationship with somebody that's in the same business, you know, where you're looking and you're like, yeah, I don't, you know, especially for women, there is that, you know, I want to be married, or we're going to move in, or we're going to do this. But I mean, men that aren't in, you know, this business, they want those things too by a certain age. And it's, you know, it's usually around the age that we're at. So,
yeah. What about you, Sean? You're in. Oh, damn. Oh no.
Oh no. I love my. You know what? I've been with my girl 2 years now. She's all over my Instagram. We're happy.
Why are you reading all this from a paper? That's weird.
I had it ready.
That's weird. You carry that press release paper in your pocket.
She wrote it for me. But
Just kidding. He's not. It's from the heart.
No, yeah. You know what? She's actually very supportive of every time I have to go out at night. You know, and she understands when I'm with her, when we're doing date night, it's all about that. You know what I mean? And I try to avoid my phone as much as possible. If I can get to the bathroom and check, you know, in case I get an email, she understands. But when I'm doing the comedy thing, then it's all about that. You know, she understands that some nights I'm not booked, but I gotta hang out, or I gotta go network, or whatever. You know, things that I've had issues with before, with other girls not understanding. Hey, you ain't getting paid. What's the big deal? This is LA. You can't, you know what I mean, miss a spot because it's not paid. You know, it's hard for some people to get that. But
or you say you're going to work, and then she sees you on Instagram post just hanging out with a bunch of dudes.
Oh my gosh!
And you're like, you don't get it. One of those dudes is friends with this guy who knows an assistant that works at JFL.
Exactly. You know, but it's hard for some relationships for that to have been communicated, but this one we get it, and you know, I push her to make sure she's always following through with her dreams and goals and things she's doing. So when she holds me to it too, like we very open. You know how you suffer with jealousy, things like that, and it's good to have somebody you can share that with that won't judge you, but will be like, well, stop just wallowing in it. You know, okay, yeah, Feraz he's directed a movie. Yeah. Don't be upset and hate on him, and you know what I mean, and troll him like I've been doing, and go, you know, do whatever it is you want to do, like because he made a step. Yeah.
Keep you centered. I do, you know, everything I did say, like I have been almost like a. Prior to this, I feel like a large part of my life I was a serial monogamous relationship-y kind of guy, going from one to another, maybe with a little 3-month, 6-month fuckboy period in between. Right. So I do understand. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I do see the value in that, and I think there's something awesome about having somebody that you can be in love with and have them there for you, because it's a crazy business. We don't have a lot of stability, so if you can't have one person that's just with you and you're kind of a little bit of a rock for you. It does help when it's
And I'm
there.
not saying there's anybody out there like that for you. There might not be. I'm just lucky. And she's my girl, so you can't have her. But you know what I mean?
Fine.
You guys might just have to do this on your own. I don't know.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know about your deranged ass, Feraz. Yeah.
No, I'm messing with you. That's somebody for everybody.
No, it's I don't need your consolation prize. I don't need your consolation prize well wishes. Okay?
Oh, man. You know what? And so I guess we're kind of coming to that. Usually Ron would do like his thing where he asks like specific type of questions. I don't know. Well, how about this? What was both of you? What's your first joke? Do you remember your first joke? I guess because he asked certain type of. Am I doing this wrong?
No, you're good, Sean.
Am I good, Paul?
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you, Paul. I didn't even bring you in all day. Paul's been sitting right there with a mic in his face.
I never get the chance to talk. So.
My bad, Paul. Dang.
Cool. It's cool, man. I don't take it personally. It's fine.
No, what you have to say is important, man.
Oh,
There you go.
So normally we would ask like,
What was your first joke, Paul?
There we go.
My first joke?
Yeah.
Jesus. I don't remember. I'm sure it was something terrible. Oh,
That
it
sounds-
was.
you were an alt con. That's a weird alt joke.
No.
I
It was
seen an alt
about
guy do that one time.
this chick that wanted to call me daddy in bed.
Yeah.
That I had dated. So I tell this whole thing about how like she gets naked and she lies in the bed and stuff. And I approach her and I'm like, "Are you ready?" And she goes, "Yes, daddy, I'm ready for you." So I look at her and then I grab my suitcase and I left because I want to make as authentic for her as possible.
Nice.
That's that was my first one.
That's a good joke. That's a good first
That's a good
joke.
joke.
Yeah. And I'm
That
not
was your
saying that the
first
judge-
joke you ever wrote?
That's
Yeah.
right. I don't believe that. That's
really
a really
was.
well written
Fuck
joke
yeah.
for a first joke.
Oh, I'm sure I had some other shit before I started doing stand up, but that was like my first joke that I told on stage.
Yeah, mine was like one of those like misdirects where it's, somebody doesn't believe in you and it's your grandma. You know what I mean? Like it was like whatever, grandma, like that. That was the punchline.
Yeah.
You're like somebody's like you never go to college or be anything, and I'm like yeah, sure, grandma.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It took me like
I was
months to write
I
that
was in
joke.
a show. I was doing a show last week, and the guy in the front was like, "You'll never amount to anything." And I was like, "Really, Dad?"
Right.
That joke did
Ton of-
everybody- that did 90,000 comics.
Everybody, hey, this 12 years ago, people. I thought it was new. I thought
It wasn't as innovative as my joke about herpes.
Oh yeah, Ooh,
That was your first?
That was your first about herpes.
Yeah, it was just so stupid. I feel like a lot of guys when they're open micing first coming out have to have one joke about herpes or some
Herpes?
sexual.
No, it never crossed my
It wasn't
mind.
real. I've never had herpes. it was like this. I went up my first time doing stand up. I did it with I was a musician for throughout. Since I was like 11, played guitar and had a band in high school and shit. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a funny song and go up there and do this like competition at school. Basically, it was for a charity, and I went up with my guitar and I said, I'm excited to play this song. Next song for you guys. It's guitar. It was a gift from my ex-girlfriend. She got it for me from Christmas. It was really sweet. But I still broke up with her. I decided to keep the guitar though because she got to keep the herpes.
Oh yeah. Damn, that's first.
And then I did
That's a good joke too. Fuck you.
and then I did a song about my first time having sex, and the turn and it's like a detailed, funny, silly song, and the turn at the end is I'm having sex with my grandma the whole time. So if that's not
bite
your
my stuff, man.
yeah, man, it's such an open micy set.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That's not bad. You remember yours, Courtney?
It had to have been. I mean, it was
What was it
definitely in
about?
my first set. Looking back, it wasn't even. I don't even think there were no punchlines. I was talking about like none at all, and I thought that's what stand up was. Like I could just go up and like act like characters because like I was coming like out of the groundlings, and I was like, I'll just take my characters and like do them on stage.
So what was your character you were most confident about going in with? That you were like, ooh, this will be my big closer.
And it was. I was so confident with it too. I was like substitute teaching at the time. And there was like this when I quit, the day I quit, I got into a fight with this little kid named Jorge, this little Jewish kid. That was fun. I like acted out. He said he had to go to the bathroom. He was like, we were like running. He was literally having me run around the classroom, like yelling at me that I couldn't speak Spanish. And then the principal came in. It was just the act out. There was no punchline.
Were you doing Jorge yourself? yourself and the principal?
Yes.
It was just you reenacting
That's
a scene as
amazing.
3 people?
No, and then the TA, she was like, stupid bitch, can't control the class. And then,
my goodness.
And I remember every time I finished, I was always like I'd be like, and that's it.
And that's it.
Because like that was the end of my, because there was no punchline. I was just like, that's
Oh
it.
my goodness.
And they're still just waiting for it to be over. That's it. And scene.
That's
You
so
forgot to hit the laugh
funny.
button. You forgot to hit the laugh
Yeah,
button.
hit it. Yo, man. Yeah, dude, I'm doing stuff with groundlings now. I'm in the intermediate. I'm in telling
nice.
myself, yeah. Oh, nice.
Nice.
Oh, look at
Nice.
you. Yeah, little man. Keep working. You'll get it. You'll get your Jorge down. No, is it? No, I'm working. That's really how they flesh you out. Like in that program is amazing.
Yeah, and they flush your bank account out.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But it's some.
Every time you show up, they're like, we added a new level. You can take the side class for $450.
Oh man, no, it's true. But no, dude.
But you're liking it. You feel like you're getting some good
Oh
comedic growth
yeah,
and stuff.
because that's I've been doing stand up for a while, and I think the thing that made me take classes there was like I took a class somewhere, like an acting class, and they were doing like a voice specific workshop thing, and they were talking about how Barbara Streisand would go to voice lessons, and like they all all the great musicians continue to like do things to work on their instrument, like even Beyonce takes voices, and you think about that, like what am I? Yeah, let me try something, especially at this stage where I'm like not overexposed yet, or I'm not successful. Overexposed. I'm being kind to myself. I'm not successful, so I can do things like that and not be as judged as like a person who's a little more
Well, I mean, and especially that's taking classes is something you should always be doing as an artist, like especially like actors, like
right.
I mean, every big name is still hanging out at the actor studio, and that's so it's a muscle, and it needs to constantly be worked. Yeah,
and I can see like with characters, like the more you ground them, the more strong they become. Because I listen to a lot of older comedy. I think that's why I feel like the older comics are better than us in a way, because they have this trick in their toolbox is that they can. Richard Pryor, like how you did your first bit, could do those bits, but then he was very in tune as a comedian, because there's a certain being there that a stand-up comedian has. Like, I'm in the room, and so are these characters, these fully fleshed out. Like, I do voices and stuff, but they only exist to give the line. My grandpa gives lines in my act, and if somebody were to heckle me, I wouldn't respond as my grandfather. I would, come become me. But Richard Pryor was so in the room, and all his characters were capable stand-up comedians. Him, Lily Tomlin, all these great comedians from the past, because they would do improv till like in Greenwich Village till 3 a.m. every night, and they would just so worked, and they didn't separate it. Now we separate improv and stand-up, whereas I think it's a full instrument. I think if you can break the code that connects all of them, then you can be a really complete stand-up and be able to, have these characters that can also riff.
Maria Bamford's awesome at that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You see like somebody who can just escape into a character that's there and real, and I'm like, dang, yeah, if I can, why not? If I'm at this level, why not get better, get better if I can.
Yeah, and make you a way stronger actor too. Like the people that go through UCB and Groundlings and all that stuff that I'm friends with, that I've met in programs and stuff, I was always really impressed with their comedic acting, because they do so much live acting. It's like, you kind of get to know your moves as a comic. Like a lot of comics, you'll know, like you get to know your voice. You know how if I talk this way, or if I do this expression or this kind of thing.
Yes,
I know how to get laughs, or I know I can make even a weak premise when I'm trying a new premise. I know how to give it some legs just based on what I do that's funny.
Right.
They know how to do that with their instrument as actors.
Right.
Like they know how to be a certain kind of character, walk, look, do a certain thing with their eyes. They had moves, man.
That's what's so amazing about improv acting, from what I've acquiesced in doing jams and going to the Groundlings, is that it's reacting, like acting. So a lot of people will focus on the improv comedy aspect, which is really just reacting to what the person said. I have these funny scenes that people are like, you're so funny. And I was like, all I did was listen to that dude. The dude said, and I'm like, like,
it's
then I added more information.
It.
Right. But I've seen people like not be able to do that. Like, especially stand-ups, because you got to have a plan. And you're not confident in like, I'm funny. Like, no matter what I say, I'm going to be funny. Like, so I just got to pass you the ball. I'm LeBron in this. Like, I'm not going to try to Michael Jordan and go to the hole. You say, man, it's hot in, on the shrimp boat today. It sure is. Whatever, yeah. Man, these shrimps are tasty. Whatever. Like, now the shrimp
I feel like I'm on the boat.
Right. You're on the boat, and we're eating shrimp, and that's where we are. And that's all improv is building it brick by brick. Oh, you added something, and now we're creating a story.
And you nailed it. It's listening.
That's it, yeah. And I think real acting is that. I think one of the tricks I've learned in improv, when I see a dude that's like blocking me out, like he's not accepting any information because he's thinking about the thing he's about to say. Mm-hmm. When you touch somebody, you can't help but react to that. Like if somebody touches you, they're like, oh, and then you did something, and so that means something. Everything you did means. So he
just like real life,
right? So you shuddered, and I'm like, oh, you still scared of me, man? I only hit you that one time, and whatever it is, that's now we have something that happened before based on this thing and that's what's so cool about an improv audience. They see everything. They hear everything. Like I had a bad scene the other day. Oh my God. But like we didn't know where we were. We just, it was crazy. I just walked off.
At a jam?
It was at a jam. And that's what's so cool about jamming is like you have people at different levels, at different schools that have different disciplines. And some people that are just crazy people off the street. One dude wanted to be a vampire
like
so bad. The Ding Dong Show. What is Ding Dong Show?
What's the Ding Dong Show?
Yeah.
It's the longest running show at the Comedy Store.
The Ding Dong Show. I've
Ding
heard
Dong
of it.
Show.
Oh, okay.
In the belly room.
I've never seen it.
Offensive.
Oh, no.
He basically gets
People on the street.
mentally handicapped people.
Oh my God.
And he has them be on a panel with him in the belly room.
Oh, this is Don Barris?
Yes.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, I saw it by accident and I didn't know what's happening.
Yeah, most people see it by accident.
And then you can't stop watching. You're like, you find a seat. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
I also, there's a moment where you go up there and it's just a weird, dark energy, but then you do watch for a while and you're like,
I get it.
I get this is very interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very strange.
Yeah. Well, look, guys, you guys, man, time has flown. I've enjoyed you guys thoroughly. So, Feraz, where can people find you and follow you at?
People.
Sorry.
People can.
We just had a stranger walk in. She's
a
looking
guest
for
walk in.
somebody.
Let's listen.
Sorry about
She's
that.
still
Let's hear what she has to say.
She wants to hear where she can follow you.
Come back.
Like,
Any more Twitter followers? You can find me on all social media. I'm on as Feraz Ozel. That's Feraz. Last name is Ozel. Ozel. I'm verified on Twitter, dude.
What?
Blue check mark and everything.
Yeah. Oh man.
Still got to get verified on Instagram though, so help me get more followers. Other than that,
yeah. What else is coming up? Anything? Like shows? This is gonna drop Christmas Day.
This is gonna drop Christmas Day. You can just check out. I got a podcast called Infodels. DELS podcast. We're on iTunes and all that jazz.
Heck yeah. What about you, Courtney? Where can they follow you? What's coming up?
I am Courtney Scheuerman, SCHEUERMAN.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney Scheuerman on Instagram and Court Scheuerman on Twitter. And my website, CourtneyScheuerman.com, has all my dates and stuff.
Heck yeah. I love it. Well, I was your host, Sean Grant, at Sean Grant Pictures on Instagram, at Sean Grant Words on Twitter. This is the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. Comedy Pop-Up is at Comedy Pop-Up LA?
At Comedy Pop-Up.
At Comedy Pop-Up.
Yeah. And then the website is comedypopup.la.com.
comedypopup.la.com. And I want to say a big thank you to Nick Gant and to Paul Antonio. Paul, where can they follow you at, Paul?
Thank you, man. They can follow me at the Paul Antonio. Or just follow us on Comedy Pop-Up and you'll see me posting.
Heck yeah. And is this the last podcast of the year? Of 2017?
Yes. Yeah, this is last podcast.
We did it, guys.
We did it.
This was a great year for everybody. I feel it, man. I think 2018 is going to be even better. Thank you guys so much for listening. And I've been your host, Sean Grant. This is Comedy Pop-Up Podcast, people.